Hello, and welcome to the Google Hangout on Air on Block 1. Today we're going to be talking about four things: the Internet of Things, cloud computing, computer hardware, and open source. To give this topic some context, there was a study done by Harvard Business Review where 46% out of 547 IT leaders across 11 countries reported the use of open source systems across specific departments, while 22% reported adopting the system across the whole company. Our world of technology is changing, from having smart devices to communicate to one another to software being distributed, downloaded, and manipulated for free. It is essential that we are informed about these systems and processes, as their integration into society depends on our technological savviness and willingness to change. So first, we have the Internet of Things. And the Internet of Things is the interconnection of any device or machine that has access to the Internet. This may include anything that has an on or off switch, including coffee makers, washer machines, refrigerators, even jet engines of an airplane. And experts at the canvassing of the future of the Internet last year projected significant growth from now until 2025 and explained that the efficiency of the system, the potential efficiency of the system, is a great opportunity for businesses to be more economically aware and cleaner and smarter about how they do business. And this may include ordering specific inventory based on expiration dates that come through to them from information from networks and households, or how much energy to use on a daily basis. Additionally, there are certain drawbacks to the Internet of Things. One of these drawbacks is privacy, as hackers can access one appliance and possibly enter the whole network and receive information about the business or individual. And also, the separation between developed and underdeveloped countries with Internet access and without Internet access limit the growth potential of the Internet of Things, as some parts of the world will be able to take on this system, and others will fall behind, and there will be a division in our society. Next, we have cloud computing. And cloud computing, put simply, refers to the delivery of services, applications, storage, and other such resources to computing devices through networks supplied by central servers. And this type of computation allows for rapid, convenient connection wherever one can reach the Internet. And certain cloud-based companies that were really born in the cloud are Facebook, Amazon, and Google. Facebook with social networking, Google through an example of Google Docs, and Amazon through e-commerce. And in today's world, cloud computation can really come in handy with business and travel, because wherever you can access the Internet, you can get all of your work at your fingertips. And so for business, with all this information readily available, collaboration is very easy to work with coworkers, and you don't need to lug around several devices or flash drives. All the information is in one place, and it's secure under one umbrella of the network wherever you can access the Internet. Also, a big question about cloud computation is where they will get the financing, as it is free to access. And the answer to this is through advertising, and through advertising on sites where you can get where you use the cloud computation's resources. And also, there's development on creating a service utility. So the longer you use such resources, the more you'll get billed for the usage. And again, the drawbacks to this are privacy and hackers accessing information through the network and Internet. And also, one of the major drawbacks is wherever you can't get Internet access, obviously you cannot access your work. So there are works through Google and other companies to make remote devices where you can work without the access to the Internet. Thirdly, computer hardware. Computer hardware is essentially just the physical components of a computer. And in every digital computer, there are three main components: the processor, the memory, and the storage. And the processor is basically the engine under the hood. for the computer, and it communicates instructions through a series of switches, and it gets this information from the memory, which communicates to the processor, and the memory gets its information from the storage, where the storage essentially takes information from the app. So it's basically a long line to the processor. Additionally, behind the scenes of all this are transistors, and transistors are just the primary building blocks of all microchips. And so as the information world expands, there's a bigger pressure on these transistors to become smaller, but yet communicate more information. And so innovation is really needed in this area in order to expand our technological world. Additionally, with hardware, business decision making about what hardware to purchase and how to use it has been a big concern. A lot of companies replace hardware on a schedule, whereas they should really be using the hardware to its maximum potential. And also, they need to be using the information to best supply their needs for both customer service and employee connectivity and security. Finally, open source is one of the software options growing ever more attractive to businesses and consumers, and it refers to computer software that makes its source code and sometimes the ability to manipulate the source code available for users for cheap and usually free. And it is a movement under the licenses in terms of open source initiative that threatens the future of proprietary software like Microsoft. And the major crown jewel of this open source is Linux, and basically Linux is a non-profit organization that is funded by companies that give money to develop gives money to Linux to develop open source products for businesses. And overall, it is collaboratively grown in the largest cooperative computing system ever. And so as Linux grows, and as the study from the Harvard Business Review shows that the open source influence on businesses is really expanding, it really puts pressure on proprietary software systems like Microsoft and Apple to really change towards the open source system, as they will, their profits will really reduce as Linux grows. So overall, the Internet of Things, cloud computing, computer software, hardware, and open source are all main components of the changing world in the Internet and technology today. Overall, open source and cloud computing allow for cheap, convenient, and effective access to use of resources, while the Internet of Things connects these resources together through a network. Knowledge of computer hardware allows for the necessary understandings of these resources and devices that operate in this network. That is all for this Block 1 Hangout on Air. Thank you for listening.